Are you ready to read some spooky stories? Hello and welcome to the NanoCast, SpookTittylar.
SpookTittylar.
This is totally original idea. Do not steal. Also, that's my favorite OC ever. Donut Steal.
Isn't that from?
It's Donut Joe, but he's in a mecha suit. Let's go play some Mech Warrior 2 on Windows 98.
Oh no.
I wonder if I still have the CD for that. Mech Warrior 2.
Mech Warrior 2.
I had that. No, it wasn't Mech Warrior 2. It was the first Mech Warrior.
Didn't that just be Mech Warrior?
Yeah, it was just Mech Warrior. I had a CD for it, and I also had a CD for Quake, the first one, for Unreal, the very first Unreal game. Not the tournament one, it was actually the single-player thing.
Go on.
I had a whole bunch of other random shit, too. I had a Half-Life CD, but it never worked, so I broke it in half and posted a picture of it on Facebook. Then I got another Half-Life CD from Play and Trade, and I didn't even put the CD in my computer. I just took the CD key, threw it in Steam, and it gave me the whole anthology pack.
That's good.
Are you ready to read some spooky stories?
Spooky, scary skeletons.
It's spooky story time.
It's spooky scary time, everybody! Yay!
Spooky stories. Okay, I'm just gonna Google creepypasta because I just
There is a
Googled,
story
I
of
googled two.
Slender Man.
Shut up! I googled two spooky stories and I didn't come up with anything.
Two spooky stories.
Too frightening for me. Crappypasta.com. I'm just gonna read off titles and you just name one that seems interesting, interestoralizing. Okay. I don't know what that is. What the fuck? What the fuck just happened? Okay. The first one is Whispers.
Whispers, like.
Then is Conscience.
And then that one's like.
The Scariest Ghost. Willis, Texas. The Thing That Haunts the Woods.
Why don't you Google Tales Doll stories?
Tales Dolls?
There's a website dedicated to Tales Doll stories.
Oh god. There's the Tales Doll Curse.
.com or something.
Tales Dolls, My Story, Creepypasta, Wikia. I'll just click that one.
No. There's an actual website dedicated to this stuff.
Oh lord. It's literally a Sonic the Hedgehog Tales doll. I thought a Tales doll was like some obscure marionette thing, but no, it is literally a Sonic the Hedgehog Tales doll. There's a free webs page. The Tales doll curse is real.
Tales Doll Curse. Have you tried that one? Go click the.
Okay. I went to this page. It is literally one of the oldest stock web pages on free webs. This is like the ones from 2005. It's got a really tiny low-res tiled image of Tails. That's all, or no, it's not even Tails. It's just some teddy bear that's bloody and shit. And then there's
just read some of these on this link that I sent you.
Oh, Okay, here we go. A talestallstories.webs. And what the I can't read anything!
Just like select it and you can read it.
Okay, story 1. I went to GameStop to get the newest, most fun Sonic game ever rated. Sonic R. What? I don't even know what that is.
Racing
Strangely,
video game.
what?
It's a racing game for the
Oh.
like Saturn or some shit.
Strangely, no one had bought the game. It was all over the television, but no ads were on the windows of the shop. Even more surprisingly, not one person was in the new releases aisle. So I got the first one. As I touched it, a strong, strange chill went coursing through my body. So I paid, then went home to play Sonic R.
Oh.
But my brother was on the GameCube playing Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So I went to the Wii, put my game disc in, heard evil laughter, then the game went on normally. After a few days, I was close to finishing the game. I unlocked the Tails doll, which I thought was pretty cool, so I played tag mode. The last person I had to tag was Super Sonic. After I
Whoa.
yeah, you supply like a creepy undertone music like
Like one of those God, what are those fucking things called? You know those
like an
freaking synths that you use your hand to manipulate?
theremins,
Yeah. One
like
of those.
like in Star Trek.
Yeah, freaking theremin.
Like try to do the theme from Children of the Corn. Just do that very quietly to set the mood. Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. Oh, hold on. After I tagged him, I went off the game to get my book and MP3 to entertain myself. I read an old Sonic comic while listening to Can You Feel the Sunshine?
Can you feel the sunshine?
All kinds of different ways. When I went backwards with the song, my MP3 died immediately after. I felt a light, gentle touch with what seemed like a plush doll of some sort.
It said, "Can you feel the sunshine?"
I turned around to see nothing else but the Tails doll. I jumped back with fear, rolled backwards over my bed unexpectedly, and knocked my head on my desk. I
Oh.
fainted for a long time. As what it seemed, as that is what it seemed. I woke up in a dark, lonely place. I looked around. Nothing was there. I double looked, and the second time I saw the Tails doll. I crawled backwards, and it slowly followed me. I noticed something different about this Tails doll. The gem wasn't red. It was a light shade of blue. I crawled towards him, and his blue light flashed brighter and brighter the closer I came to him. When I was only a few inches away from him, his light was tie-dye of green and white and blue. He pounced on me and said, "You aren't scared of me, are you? You don't have to be afraid." Then I hesitated for a while. The longer I didn't reply, bluer his gem became. After a while, I replied, "No, I am not scared of you. Not one little bit. Actually, you're kind of cute."
Sunshine.
His gem immediately turned green with joy. Then he joyfully said, "Yay! Since you're not scared of me, can I stay with you? I won't hurt any of your family members." I replied back, "Sure, you can stay with me." After that, he teleported me back home and we lived a long, happy life. After that, I found this story in my clubhouse, in my
Sunshine.
backyard. It was on a piece of notebook paper dated 10/29/2010. I asked my family members and my neighbors if they wrote this. They all said no. So I don't know the rest of the story because only half the paper was in the clubhouse. The blank is where the story ended. Also, it was written in red thick ink. The font was a pattern of capital, lowercase, etc. Weird, huh? I don't know if the top is true, but this is also on the back of the paper was the words, "Where is your God now?" in capital letters. Shlom speak. The TD was here. That freaked me out. What the fuck? Are these like just really stupid stories?
I love this block. Have you read Sonic.exe?
No.
It's literally the dumbest creepypasta. I swear this guy has like a freaking watch and he's timing everything. Because it's stuff like, and then the game blinked for 3 seconds. I'm like, how would you know it was exactly 3 seconds?
Okay, wanna know the creepiest? Um,
No, go read freaking Sonic.exe.
okay, this one's kind of short, so I'll just read this one real quick. Okay.
Sure. I
So, you're with your honey and you're making out. Phone rings. You answer it, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she say, "My dad is dead." Then who?
who was on the phone?
No, it's not who was on the phone. Then who was phone? Mom was phone. It was just her mother.
Oh gosh. Her very, very manly mother.
Well, it didn't specify that the voice was manly. It just said voices. What are you doing, my daughter? So it could have been his mom, and the girl didn't know. Just thought it was her dad, but he's dead.
My mother won't stop screaming at night. I went to her grave to tell her to stop, but she just won't.
Spooky.
Have you seen the two sentence horror thread?
No.
It's all sorts of little things like that. It's just these 2 sentence horrors. Some of them are actually really spooky. That one was one of my favorites.
12
I just got him.
absolutely terrifying two-sentence horror stories.
Wow, dude! I
Awesome.
just got this amazing question on Ask Internet Explorer. It says, "Show your butt."
Oh my god. Do
It just show your butt in all caps with like 10 exclamation points.
it. what?
I didn't
Well,
count
no.
them.
What you do? What you do is you just go get a high quality or high res image of the Internet Explorer icon and just crudely draw a butt on it.
A butt on the icon.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You get home tired after a long day's work and ready for a relaxing night alone. You reach for a light switch, but another hand is already there.
Yeah, like 2 sentence horrors.
I just saw my reflection blink.
That one wasn't even 2 sentences. That's great.
You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you are heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard that. I heard it too." Who was closet? The doctor told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom limb. She asked why he was breathing so heavily. I wasn't.
The heart attack came and went, knocking Mike into unconsciousness, and as he awoke he could hear the graveside surface around him. Somehow the casket was translucent to him and he recognized some of his friends. But his body would not move, and he realized with terror what death really was.
I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I looked underneath for his amusement and see another him, under the bed staring back at me, quivering whisper, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." Which one's real Timmy? You can't decide. Kill them both. My daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night. I visited her grave and asked her to stop, but it doesn't help.
When I finally grabbed her in the darkness, I swam back to the surface. It never occurred to me how fast the ice could freeze. Over.
There you go. Over. After working a hard day, I came home to see my girlfriend cradling our child. I didn't know which was more frightening, seeing my dead girlfriend and stillborn child, or knowing that someone broke into my apartment to place them there.
Spooky,
It's not
scary
mine, I have to point out, and all credit goes to Frederick Brown. The last man on earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. Oh, that was from the book I Am Legend, right?
fuck if I know.
Okay.
I've never read it.
Dude,
Is it any good?
Where did the spider go?
Where?
No, that's
Lego Busyland?
that's the horror story. Where did the spider go? You don't know. It could be anywhere.
You want to hear a horror story?
What?
Alright. I sat through Justin Bieber's movie.
Oh, how horrible! I am
What
a
was that?
total
Fucking
Sonic
Mickey
the
Mouse?
Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else.
Are you reading Sonic.exe?
Yes,
Yes.
I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. ...
Notice how he misspells and like overanalyzes everything as you go on.
It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you get to explore the towns in it, until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in the mailbox as usual, and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mailbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note, and first realized that it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting, though what was weird is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read, as if that was
So
how
he
the
recognized
top
his...
it down and did it in a hurry.
So he recognized his handwriting, but it was hard to read and scrawled and... Sure, man. Whatever. I'll give you a poetic license for this.
Tom, I can't take anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Too fast for me. Oh my god. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please. That. Well, that was certainly weird. Even though that is my best friend, and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple game disc wouldn't do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about Kyle. Are you reading it with me? Do you have like the webpage open?
No, I'm drawing.
What are you drawing?
I'm drawing a commission.
What kind of commission?
A very casual one.
Oh, well, that's boring.
Hello and welcome, Give Me Your Babies.
Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looks like any older computer CDR disc, except there was black marker on it written Sonic.exe, which stands for executable file. And it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that it must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it, since I'm a big Sonic fan.
Wow. So enthusiastic.
I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome! Because like I said earlier, I like the classics. And the first thing I noticed was that out of place when I pressed start, there was a split second when I saw the title image turn into something much different. Much darker and sinister. Something evil. Every villain is lemons. Something that I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. Is that what the picture at the top is? It's all blood and he has red eyes and blood coming out of his eyes?
Yep.
That's very horrifying. It looks just cartoony. It's cartoony!
I remember what the image had looked like.
I remember what the image looked like. That split second before the game cut to black. The sky darkened, the title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666, and the water had turned red like blood, except it looked hyper realistic. It does not.
Remember blood is going to be a running theme in this.
Of course. But the freakish thing that was in the split second from was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding, with 2 glowing red dots staring right at me! And his smile
Whoa!
has stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black, it stayed like that for about 10 seconds exactly, or so. And then another weird thing happened. The save file selected from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and it was like, what the fuck? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? Oh, okay, I get it. The save file selection screen from Sonic, like the third Sonic game. Okay. Then I noticed something off. The background was dark, cloudy sky of the Bat Stardust Speedway level. Get the fuck away from my computer phone. Level from Sonic CD. And there was only 3 save files. The music was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. Only it's extended and seemed to have been in reverse. And the image for the save file, where you see a preview of the level you're on, was just red static for all 3 files.
Let me just, can you take a moment and just remember that he recognized a song while it was playing backwards.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Not only backwards, but extended and slowed down a bit, too.
How did he know that?
Because he made...
I wouldn't know that.
Because he made all this shit up?
Well, I mean, yes. But, still, if you're trying to, he's not even trying to make a good story with this. Just go on.
What freaked me out more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now, I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in the classic Sonic game? For crying out loud.
It's Robotnik.
That's when I realized that this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game.
Whoa!
It definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy. But as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. Or at least try not to be. I told myself that it was just a hack.
Is he really a smart gamer? Is he really?
No, he's not. He makes shitty false stories on the internet.
He must be very hardcore.
Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails. And when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds. And I heard a creepy, pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like Kefka guy from Final... What the fuck?
How long did it freeze? How long did it freeze?
5 seconds! Exactly! And then I noticed that one of the sprites was the trees from Contra Force. And then the water was actually from Super Mario Sunshine.
Is this supposed to be scary?
Oh,
God.
The Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black again. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more, and then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and text showed Hill, Act 1. The screen faded, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different, though. It sounded like peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. That was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. Let's count how many times he says X number of minutes.
Or seconds. Seriously? How does he know exactly?
I don't know.
That's my favorite part of this story.
That was when the peaceful
this guy.
music started to lower down into slow, deep tones. Very slowly, as I kept going.
Is this fucking Luna game?
I suddenly saw something, and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. I thought it had slowed down a while ago, actually. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I'd never seen him have before, so I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals, as Tails moved past them looking more and more worried, as the music lowers, and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in a rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. Your Tails accidentally stepped on a set of Happy Tree Friends. That's what happened. I've explained the whole thing.
Go on. Just keep going.
Okay.
It gets better.
Hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs torn off, and a duck had his eyes gouged out, and his throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there was no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed, after the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. As one in the Tails was so I. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen, with his back against Tails, with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but his smile faltered. Obviously,
You do realize that this is like a 16-bit video game, right?
Yeah.
How can it's Sonic? He had a smile. He's seeing all these emotions on these 8 how?
Like on these 4-pixel wide faces, if not acting as if he was totally oblivious to Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make a move, so this had to have been a cutscene.
Did you say he was playing on the Wii?
Yeah. No, he was playing it on his computer.
Oh, really? Because I remember him saying, or was that another one?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Go on.
Suddenly, I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger, as something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static, growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic. How do you gauge inches in a pixelated video game? And stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew longer, but he's a video game and can't actually hear things you're saying, so don't even bother try, you fucking retard. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black with those red glowing dots, just like that title image. Though there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black, and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds. 7 seconds! And then
Exactly 7 seconds? Are you sure it wasn't 7.25? Are you sure you're
It was 7.978437727.9. There's 2 decimal points in there. That's how...
Wow, that's exact.
That's super precise.
That was seconds, milliseconds.
Saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with the level title now saying, "Hide and seek." This time, I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire! Fire! Doc, come on, man! Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was staring out. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard the creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh from Final Fantasy. Right after exactly 10 seconds have passed, I helped Tails run to the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen. Again, with them big old black and red eyes. hell? I'm only halfway through this.
I really hate this game. I really just want to rip someone's head off.
The ending is what makes it, though, for me.
Okay, Jesus Christ, that fucking voice. Does that hurt your throat? Like dried out?
Just doing it like this. No.
No, dude.
I can't do that. I can't get it high pitched like that. Sounds almost like a gremlin. You should do the voice acting for Gremlins 3.
I'd prefer to do the voice acting for Troll 4.
I didn't even know there was a Trolls 3.
It goes by a different name. There's apparent. I think the thing is that there's like 2 Troll 2s.
Really?
Yeah.
They're eating her!
But in other countries, there was a Troll 3. That was actually one of the Troll 2s over here.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking companies are stupid.
I think that's more confusing than a chronologicalness, the chronology of
Legend of Zelda?
Fantasy. No, Final Fantasy. Jesus.
No, Legend of Zelda is even crazier, dude. There's apparently different links and crap.
Well, in Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2 is really Final Fantasy 7, and Final Fantasy 3 is really Final Fantasy 98.
Okay, cool.
The music changed to the suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails, slowly gaining up on him. Flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose his sprites was making looked very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD. Except it wasn't just Sonic, he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving to the poor little fox as he gained up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails lay there and started crying for exactly 15 seconds. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I had to teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked it up in horror. Blood started coming down his blackened eyes of Sonic as a grin slowly grew from his face as he looked down at horrified Fox. I could do nothing but watch, or maybe press the power button on your goddamn computer, you insensible pillock. Just in a split second, Sonic
In a split second.
in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching
Like
noise.
darkness.
That only lasted 5 seconds. The next return only this time he said, "You're too slow! Wanna try again?" And a god-awful laugh came again. And then I see some pixelated grass for Minecraft. And then I hear
Are you serious? Are you actually reading this? Like, I'm going, it doesn't say Minecraft anywhere. What are you talking about?
No, I'm making
I just Control F'd the word Minecraft on this story, you piece of shit. Read the actual thing.
doesn't say. No, I'm just making jokes as he starts referencing shit from
I
other
know,
games.
but like every 12 seconds or so. Are we at the Eggman one yet?
I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Except this isn't the correct fucking game, it's a hacked ROM hack, you goddamn piece of fucking dog shit. Why did Sonic do that to him? Because the coder of the stupid game made him. I shook the shock of... I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run, but you can hide." I was really freaked out by now. I could really tell I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack. Obviously, to hack, no glitch would do this shit, or some kind of sick, twisted joke that would include in the hack category, or anything really. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark, reddish, cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Gaiaga's theme from after you beat Pokey Earthbound, but then
Pokey
it switched to
Earthbound.
the MacGyver theme song from the 1980 show MacGyver.
God. Don't even try anymore. Just read the story. It's like I'm having trouble differentiating like you joking and the story actually just generally being bad. Okay.
I also know that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did. Though not as much, rather, like a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall, just like Tails. I looked at as if he wasn't sure about going on. But I made him move anyway. Take that, Knuckles, little bitch. He ran down the straight pathway in his dark level, and as he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again from Final Fantasy. Oh shit, okay. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of
Knuckles? I'm sorry, did you just read that as Knuckles?
Yeah, for like the past minute and a half. Every time I say
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Knuckles. You just
I had totally zoned out. Oh my god.
Well, it shows how much you're paying attention.
I was fucking moderating some shit. Go on. Dude. How many seconds did I miss?
I don't know. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, I can't hear his fucking name anymore.
Suddenly, as Knuckles.
Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes. And then red static appeared again, and the static
no,
showing
it's
up
red static, my Sonic fan character.
When the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with a text saying, "Found you," except the U's are lowercase for some goddamn reason. I was now scared.
It just
Sonic.
say, and then suddenly black appeared. What was that? Let me find this. Where are
When the
we?
static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found
It showed
you."
nothing but black screen.
I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, red static came again, and I was back into the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, the high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill's one final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared, right behind Knuckles.
No, it didn't. Okay. I'm following you now.
In what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke. Before I could even land a hit, that terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again, and Sonic finished again. Hold on. Sonic appeared
Repetition.
behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again, and then Sonic vanished again. What the fuck? Suddenly, now Knuckles was panicking even more, and I even felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and pushed his head on me.
Knuckles fell to his knees. I know what you're talking about.
Then gutted himself with his knife and clutched his head.
Can you cannot?
Yeah, fuck you. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. Wow. And then, a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for 3 seconds.
Exactly.
So another text message appeared on my iPhone 3GS, developed by Steve Jobs in California, manufactured in China. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree? What the hell? That's a curse word. This guy can't say curse words.
Fuck, why not?
Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game. But I was too scared to think that. Really, that would probably be the first thing if I was in that type of situation. And, well, actually, I would never be in that situation because I'm not stupid.
I beg to differ.
It's like, a parent sent me, don't play this game, it has virus. But it's a game, what harm can it do? I was brought back to the main menu. This time the second file box had Knuckles on the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray. His gray is misspelled, supposed to be an A. His dreadlock... Does he have...
It can be an E or an A.
Does he have...
They're actually different colors.
What?
Yeah, there's slightly different shades of the actual, like, gray. There's
No.
gray, and then there's gray.
Fuck you! You're lying.
I'm not lying, dude, it's real.
Oh, whatever. Reddish gray. His dreadlocks, I didn't even know he had dreadlocks, were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding, too. And he had the look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those were the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, and I didn't have to believe it because it's only a fucking game. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap. Wish I hadn't, because I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in a pitch black darkness, though I was
Damn it, little Timmy.
though it was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us," and "Why did you give us to him?" and "Run away before he gets you too." Their cries died out as I then heard Sonic laugh. His laugh, it sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh. "You're a lot fun to play with. You're a lot fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend that.
Sound like an angry black man.
Just like your friend that, though he didn't last long." I was scared, looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends. I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions. "You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others." When he grabbed me and I saw his bleeding black and red eyes, grinning face, I woke up with a fright. With a fright! After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to
Really a
figure
couple hours.
what was happening next, or why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next.
Robotnik.
I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyway, this creepy story uses the word wacky. It's wacky!
Oh gosh.
But anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said dots, which I found really freaky.
Dots?
Yeah, it's just
Dots are fucking scary, dude.
looks like a face. It looks like a face. Oh, and it's shedding a tear. This time, I was in some kind of hallway. It didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games, though it has the pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were dark grayish-purple with animated candlelights, and a few dark bloodstains here and there. You're right, this thing has an affiliation with blood.
An affinity for it.
There was a dark red curtain hanging above on top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant, a piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song. But I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous, like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as he was just a bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and then shrugs at me, as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, when you beat him at the end of the classic Sonic game and you chase him. As we continue going through the hallway, then I stop at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed
In
onward.
his small pixely life, he looked very unsure.
Yeah. How
Sure.
can you see? What does the look of unsure seem in 8
In
by 8
pixels.
pixels?
I'm certain it doesn't look like that fucking sun from Mario 3. I'm sure it doesn't look like that.
No, that's a look of evil and annoyance. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls have gotten darker and more reddish. No, it says reddish. The red
Okay.
torches are now an eerie blue. Then we
Really
landed
glad it doesn't say radish. It looks like the radish.
They looked like oddish. Then we landed into another hallway. This one.
Oddish? The fucking Pokemon? And you landed into another hallway, alright.
This one was longer than the last one, or at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs, and then another hallway, and then more stairs. This one was much longer. Took at least 1 full minute. A whole 60.000 seconds. And then I heard that horrible Kefka laugh again, and then the music slowly faded until it was quiet. As it did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were black flame now. When Robotnik landed into the third hallway, I noticed he now looked really creeped out, though he tried to hide it. How can you tell that on the fucking pixelated screen? I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did Knuckles, and then the red static. The red static lasted for 15 seconds, and then it showed me the most unpleasant image. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face, while his head and torso faded into black. When I see hyper-realistic, I mean, it looked like you could actually see the lines in his fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. But TV screens don't work that way. His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen, and that's saying something considering I saw the image at the start of the game. His eyes are wide and black and once again crying blood, which also looked hyper-realistic, and there were 2 small glowing red dots in those black eyes, staring right at me, as if staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face, like Cheshire Cat, except Sonic had fangs this time, since when did he have fangs? Very sharp fangs, much like the werewolf's teeth, except more vicious looking, somewhat yellowish, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as he ate some animal. I stared at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it, as if I were actually looking at me.
Except for the times where I looked at my fucking timer.
Yeah, except for the times where I was checking my watch to see how long this shit was going on.
Exactly.
That face, it just took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Then the screen flickered red static again 3 times. On the 3rd time I heard the Kefka laugh, except this time it sounded distorted. Demonic even. Demonic, but whispered out. I went back to the image again, except this time there was a text going through. It was messed up, but it's pretty much one of the most horrifying things I had since I had this game. I am God. Dun dun dun. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
And that was John Williams. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic, then it hit me. I realized right there and then, this Sonic was a monster. A pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented... just reminds me of the fucking scene from Joshua's Littlest Leper story.
Yep. He was the happiest, sweetest little leopard.
He was the happiest, sweetest, wonderfulest, nicest,
Yes. Leper. And
little leper.
all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly that, are just his little toys. And the game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, this one's an actual split second, man, an actual split second.
Whoa, dude! You can't just split a second like that. That's like splitting an atom. You just don't do it. Things blow up.
But this time it's time. Time blows up.
Oh God!
A scream. The Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly, with his mouth wide open, an unnatural length, and revealing nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness. Before the red static came again, this time much louder and distorted. How can you distort static? It's about as distorted as shit gets. So loud that it
too.
hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. I just want to take all the times and just add them all together to see how long you went through this ordeal. Then it stopped and showed nothing but black screen. black
Okay,
space.
is that the second time we've heard that?
As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last thing came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? The Kefka laugh now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me. Played again 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu. This time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned gray, as his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke and blood coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they were going through. They were forever trapped within the game, forever tormented by the horrid Hedgehog.
Hedgehog?
Hedgehog. Hedgehog!
Hedgehog.
It always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds, horrified by what had just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who plays this game in more ways than one, and then, when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always, as his toy.
That's cool.
I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where the voice came from. Saw on the screen, sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic's plushie, smiling with bloodstains under its eye.
That's the end. That's the end.
Oh boy!
That's the greatest story ever written.
It's fantastic. There's even videos of people made ROM hack gameplays of the game.
Yes, those are actually fun. Because it's like, someone made this out of this pile of crap.
Or somebody that has a picture of a bloodstained Sonic plushie.
My God. What did they do? Apply real blood
I don't know.
to their actual Sonic plushie? I had this one friend who always wore his Sonic shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he wasn't my friend for much longer after that.
When I was still in school, there were people who have like backpacks, and I noticed, even in high school, a lot of people have like backpacks for like really little kids shows, but it's always the black people with them.
Yeah, dude. Sure.
Like I see black people with Dora the Explorer backpacks, Go Diego Go backpacks, but no white people, just black people with them.
What you got against white people, man? What you... You know, I joke a lot about... I joke about a lot of voodoo things. You know? You know that. Right?
Voodoo dig my ass.
I joke a lot about a lot of things. I bet you're wondering if there's anything that I believe can't be joked about. And there is. White people. I believe we've been through enough.
Yeah, man, like, what have white people been through? Oh, I know. The English and French War.
We had I don't know, 9/11. No, is that too recent?
Yeah, well, except now the Muslims are making that shit about them. Well, that was a fun story. Are your bones shivering now? Because there's a skeleton inside of you.
Have you ever heard the song by those guys who did that 4-chord song, Axis of Awesome?
What about him?
They have this song called Skeleton Man. They're like, he's half man, half skeleton. Ooh. There's that one rational guy in the song. He's like, well, isn't that like fucking everybody? I could be Skeleton Man. Anyhow, I'm gonna go.